Thank you so much for chanting. Okay, we can come closer to the deities, please. Thank you so much for chanting the bhajan. Hare Namaiva Kevalam. So this song is generally sung before the any kirtan program, Harinam program, especially in Mayapur, they always sing this bhajan. So for many years, we thought that actually no one knew the author of this bhajan. But recently the devotees have found out, based on the writings, teachings of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that this particular bhajan is written by a great devotee. His name is Nilakanta Goswami. He appeared in 1857 and he lived till 1912, especially in Calcutta. And he wrote this bhajan. Initially, when he composed this bhajan, there were 100 verses. It's called Kevala Shatakam, not Kevala Astakam. But devotees, they just took the 8 verses of that original composition and made it Astakam, so Kevala Astakam. So, a lot of our philosophy, about the truth, the absolute truth, how to practice bhakti, devotional service. A lot of these things are embedded in Vaishnava bhajan, so we should regularly chant Vaishnava bhajan because it's the essence of all the scriptures comes into the heart of the Vaishnavas. They come and then they compose the bhajans, so we can get the whole essence of the scriptures. So if you get a chance, please chant Vaishnava bhajans whenever you get a chance. Word Kevala means only. What it means is, holy name is the only thing you do in this life. Whatever is the problem, doesn't matter. Holy is the only thing. Now you must be wondering, is that really true? We just came out of the pandemic, there's a war going on, the problems, the inflation, the relationship issues, so many suicide problems. How can the Harinam can really solve the problem? Actually it can, provided we have a faith, we have a trust. So even when Srila Prabhupada was on the planet, it's not that there were no problems. There were problems. There were problems amongst devotees and the leaders and so many problems. And whenever the devotees would go to Prabhupada, Prabhupada would say, just chant and things will be normal. It's not that Prabhupada would not tell them to do their duty, but after doing the duty, if the problems still persist, Just take the beads in hand, and that's the only thing we can take shelter. So, if you can go to the first verse. Please, can you see the first verse? Yeah. Madhura Madhuri. Yeah. Okay, so the first verse we chanted, Madhura Madhuri Byopi, Mangale Byopi Mangalam, Pavanam Pavani Byopi, Hare Namayva Kevalam. More sweet than all other sweet things, more auspicious than all other auspicious things, the greatest purifier of all purifying things, the holy name of Sri Hari is everything. So holy name is sweeter than any other sweetest thing in this world. Now this doesn't mean that you cannot say, oh, I cannot chant holy name because I have a diabetes. No, it's not that way. The sweetness of holy name is much different, much more than any other sweeter things in this world. I mean, we are used to sweeter things like sugar and gulab jamun, rasgulla and all these things, right? But we haven't tasted the sweetness of Harinam. And Rupa Goswami mentions this in the Bhakti Rasamrita because we cannot, because right now we are in a state called jaundice. If you have a jaundice, you know what is the cure for jaundice? Sugar cane juice. But the person who has a jaundice, when he drinks sugar cane juice, does it taste sweet? It tastes utterly bitter. But if he continues to take that sugar cane, one day the jaundice will go away and he can feel the sweetness of that. So that is what it is. Harinam is right now, it's like we are in the jaundice state. But there is a problem with this analogy. The person who has a jaundice, right, he has tasted sugar cane, that's why he knows the sweetness. But in our case, most of us probably don't know what is the sweetness of Harinam. So how can we continue this? This is the reason the Lord is so merciful that once in a while, when you chant properly, when you are in the association of devotees, you will get the taste of Harinam. So that keeps us going. And that, and one day we'll get the taste of Harinam. It's actually said, or Acharya says that if you really get the taste of Harinam, it's so sweet that you might not be able to handle, you might die. It's so powerful. In this world, anything which is happiest moment or the saddest moment, or both we cannot handle, might die. Like when your favorite like the team wins the World Cup soccer, a lot of people die. Your favorite team loses the soccer, people still die. Why is that? Because we are not able to handle that type of situation. There's a story about this man who had a severe heart problem, and his wife was always protective of him because didn't want to give me like happy news or the sad news because we never know. But one day it so happened that he bought a lotto and he won $100 million. Now the wife is worried, $100 million for the husband, because if I tell, he's going to die. So she goes to the local priest and says, my dear priest, you have to help because I cannot handle this. The priest says, no problem. Bring your husband next day. And the priest asks the husband, if you get $100, what will you do? And the man says, if I get $100, I'll be so happy to take my wife for a dinner. What if you get $1,000? $1,000, that TV I wanted always. I could not afford a new TV. What about $10,000? Oh, I would renovate the bathroom. That's what I wanted for a long time. $100,000, $50,000, oh, Tesla. Wanted that for a long time. And then he says, what if you get $100 million? And the man says, $100 million? I will give 50% to you, and the priest dies. This is what happens. He cannot handle this situation. That's exactly when holy name, when it suddenly comes as a shock, we may not be able to handle. But those who have tasted Harinam, they cannot stop because that sweetness is always there. So here it says, Maduram Madure Piyobi, that is very sweet. Now, does that mean holy name is only sweet? Not really. Holy name is sweet as well as auspicious. Mangale Piyobi Mangalam. Now, in this world, if you see, generally which is sweet is not auspicious. Right? If you eat gulab jamun in the beginning, you might say, oh, madur, madur, madur. 5 gulab jamuns, okay, madhur, still madhur. But 15 gulab jamuns, amangal, 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 right? Everything goes haywire, you don't know what to do with it. But Harinam is one thing, is sweet, madhur and mangal. Now what is the definition of auspiciousness? Rupa Goswami, all these definitions are there in Nectar of Devotion. Rupa Goswami defines auspiciousness is that activity which brings welfare activity to the entire humanity. This is Rupa Goswami's definition. Not just the human beings, all animals, everyone. So, Harinam is such an auspicious thing, doesn't depend on any material situation. It's beyond the material situation. That's why when somebody takes a birth, we chant Hare Krishna mantra. When somebody dies, Hare Krishna mantra. Whatever, you pass the exam, Hare Krishna mantra. You fail the exam, Hare Krishna mantra. Because it's beyond the material aspect. So it's not dependent upon. However, in this material world, anything you see is relative, auspiciousness. When there is a snow, is auspiciousness for those who are snow plowers. But for the monk, inauspiciousness. When it rains, those who sell umbrellas, auspiciousness. Those who are in ice cream shop, inauspicious. So it's always relative. You all must have heard the story about Akbar, right? I think most of you know about it. Akbar. Akbar was a great king. And one morning, Akbar woke up and he wanted a fresh air. He went to the gallery. And somehow he tripped and just fell down and broke his jaw. Now, when the king falls and breaks his jaw, there's a big news. So all the ministers, they gather and they say what to do. So they bring all the astrologers and the priests and say, king has fallen, we have to do something. One of the astrologers, he did all the calculation and told king, my dear Akbar, did you see anyone's face first thing in the morning when you woke up in the gallery? That person's face would be inauspicious. And Akbar said, right. Because when I was in that gallery, there was a washerman. Washermen generally they come to the palace, they come to the laundry. I saw his face and he looked at me and our eyes actually connected. And the astrologer says, yes, that person is the most inauspiciousness. That's why you fell down. And Akbar says, oh, really? Then I want to give him the death penalty. Now, poor washer, he has nothing to do with this. Now he starts crying, his wife is crying and says, what to do? But his wife tells the washerman, go and tell Birbal, this is what's happened. Birbal says, no problem, I will handle the situation. So Birbal goes to the Akbar next day and says, my dear king, I heard you have given a death penalty to this washer, is that true? He said, yes. Why? Because it's inauspicious. Then Birbal says, my dear king, think about it. You saw washerman's face and you broke your jaw. And that washerman's face. But that washerman saw your face in the morning and he had a death penalty. So whose face is more inauspicious? Akbar got the message. He said, yes, that's true. Because obviousness and amangal and mangal, this is all relative. So, this is what Harinam is beyond all this calculation of this real world. Now, Harinam is also the greatest purifier. Pavanam Pavane POP. I think you can come inside, please. I think there is still, we still have New Year's here. I think New Year's Day, everybody wants to take the darshan of deities. Thank you. So, greatest purifier, especially I think those who are doing the altar seva, we always word, right? Om apavitra pavitro va sarva vastam kato piva yasmaret pundarikaksham sa bhaya bhayatra suchi, right? Those who are on the altar. The meaning of these words is whether you are apavitra, impure, or whether you are pure, pavitra, or even any other state, doesn't matter as long as you chant the holy name of Pundarikaksha or the Vishnu or Krishna, everything will be purified. Everything will be pure so that we can go and do the deity service. So in this world, if you see, There are many purifiers, right? Water is a purifier. That's why we take bath with water. Fire is there. Wind is a purifier. If the room is smelly, we just open the wind. Room is. But among all purifiers in this world, Harinam is the greatest purifier because it purifies both internally and externally. So that's why we should always chant the Hare Krishna mantra. And we have practically seen this. When someone, can we close the door please? When someone joins our movement, ISKCON, in the beginning, they may not be pure. They may have some bad habits, smoking, drinking, whatever it is. But all we have to do is give them Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and eventually we see them, they become a great devotee. Can we see this? Okay. All right. So that's the first word. The second verse says that the entire universe, from exalted Brahma down to the lowly clump of grass, is a product of the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. The only thing that is reality, again I say reality, is the holy name of Sri Hari, is everything. So what is here in this verse, this author is saying is, everything in this world, whether it's a Brahmaloka or a Satyaloka or this planet, everything is illusory, means everything is a temporary in nature. So Harinam is beyond this, all this material creation. So in other words, based on this, what author is saying that whatever efforts done by NASA or Jeff Bezos, Blue Origins, or Elon Musk's, what is that? SpaceX, is a waste of time. Because just because you get to the other planet with this some shuttle or something, you cannot find an happiness there because it's all illusory. Doesn't matter. Now I was thinking why the author is here in this verse is comparing to the the Brahmaloka and all. See, all of us have problems. Is anyone here who doesn't have any problem? No. All of us have problem. It's a different flavor. Some are medium, large size, doesn't matter. And we are so much entangled in these problems, our entire consciousness get absorbed in dealing with this problem. If we are not healthy, we seek wealth. If we are not beautiful, we beauty. If we are not healthy, we look for health. So this is constantly going on, and we feel that our problems are the biggest problem in this world. Krishna never said that this world is a happy place. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. But what is important is how we look at this problem. It requires a paradigm shift in the way we look at problems. Suppose if you are walking the street and you see two buildings, one is 2-storied and one is 100-storied. Now 100 stories is like my problem. Oh my God, it's so tall. That's what we feel. But if you go on the airplane and you look at these two buildings, what happens? They look alike. Whether it's a small problem or large problem, it doesn't matter. So this is the shift we need. Hare Krishna Mahamantra or Harinam or the Lord's name can take us to that level where the problems in a different way. Srila Prabhupada had many problems, material problems. He had a heart attack, his typewriter was stolen, so many issues. But at his level, he looked at the problems at a totally different angle. We have to reach that. We have to, because as long as we are in this material world, problems will be there. Because that's what Bhagavad Gita says. Harinam can bring us platform. The third verse says, the person is a true preceptor, means guru, or a true father, a true mother, and a true friend, only they teach one to remember Krishna. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. Now this doesn't mean that you go and tell your parents that, oh, you're not my father, not my mother. That's not the intention of this verse. What it verse is that if someone is a guru or a father or a mother, he should be a well-wisher. The well-wisher, that's why if you see Prabhupada always wrote a letter, you are well-wisher. right? Always. Who knows your ultimate benefit. And for that to know ultimate benefit, that person should have a knowledge of what is ultimate benefit. Otherwise, he cannot be sure. Sometimes in the office, right, people say, okay, I will take you out to a pub and I will pay for the drinks. Now, in one sense, yeah, it's helpful, but is he a well-wisher? No. I remember, many years, like in the Christmas time, like some of these colleagues, they would just keep a gift on my table. Nice wine bottle with a beautiful, case. I mean, I should thank them for giving the gift, but what is the use of that gift? Right? So, well-wisher means one who really understands what is the real benefit for that person. So, that is a well-wisher. So, there's a story about this Mukunda. Mukunda was a contemporary, was actually associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mukunda had a son, Raghunandan. That time he was very young, like 5 years old. And Mukunda was a doctor by profession. He was a medical practitioner. And one day, while he was about to offer a bhoga to the deities, his deities, and he got a call. Somebody called and said, Mukunda, we need your help because some patient needs help. And Mukunda had to leave because that's his profession. While leaving, Mukunda told his son Raghunandan, make Krishna eat. He didn't know offering and all. He said, make Krishna eat. Raghunandan said, okay. After his father left, Raghunandan took a plate and kept it in front of the deities and said, Krishna, eat. How does Krishna eat? He eats through his eyes because Krishna's senses are interchangeable. Our senses are not interchangeable. Krishna can eat through eyes, Krishna can walk, Krishna can talk through his nose. All these are interchangeable. So, he said, Krishna eat. And Krishna ate through his eyes. But Raghunandan couldn't see that. He was getting angry. He said, Krishna, eat! And finally, deities were getting scared of this young boy, and the deities actually started eating the prasad. And they finished all the bhoga. Luckily, in our case, it doesn't happen. Otherwise, nobody will offer to the Lord. But in his case, Raghunandan's case, Krishna ate the whole plate. And after some time, Mukunda came back. And Mukunda said, did Krishna eat? And Raghunandan said, yes. Good, then bring the prasad. And Raghunandan said, no, Krishna ate. No, bring the prasad. No, Krishna ate everything. Now Mukunda was thinking this time, like really playing with me. Then he said, okay, I have one more laddu. Can you offer it to the Lord? And Raghunandan took this and went to Krishna and said, Krishna eat. And he actually picked up the laddu and started eating. The problem was, Mukunda was behind the curtain. And he slowly opened the curtain, wanted to see what is happening. And as soon as Mukunda opened the curtain, Lord kept the laddu back. He said, that's like that. Now Mukunda realized his son is so advanced that he's really a great devotee and he has taken a birth in his family. So, next year when Mukunda went to Jagannath Puri to meet Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu asked Mukunda, Mukunda, are you a father and Raghunandan a son? Or Raghunandan is father and you are a son? And Mukunda said, no, Raghunandan is my father and I am the son. That person is a true preceptor or a true father, a true mother and true friend also if they teach one always to remember Krishna. So this is what is our duty as a father, mother, guru. We should make that person remember us. There is no certainty when the last breath will come and put an abrupt halt to one's material plans. Therefore, it is wise to always practice chanting from very childhood. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. In Bhagavad Gita, there is a concept called the law of last thought. Yam yam api smaranam. The law of last thought means whatever you remember at the last moment of your life during the death, you will become like that in the future. Now someone might say, wow, that's easy. Let me enjoy all my life and last minute, I'll Hare Krishna and just go back. Right? Why are we practicing all these things? It looks very easy, right? But no. Krishna says, Krishna is very particular. Yam yam mapi smaran. The word used is smaran. Smaran doesn't mean just the utterance of Krishna's name. Smaran means absorption in Krishna's name. Absorption means you need a tongue to recite his name. You need mind and intelligence to absorb in his name. So sometimes people ask, oh, there's a famous person, he said, hey Ram, while dying. Has he gone back to Godhead? Maybe or may not be. We don't know. Or sometimes people ask, if someone is devotee all his life, but in the last stage is in a coma, what is going to happen? He can still go back. Mind and intelligence is still active. He may not be able to utter the Krishna's name. So Smaran is beyond the utterance of Krishna's name. So the question comes is, what do you remember at the last moment of your life? And it is said that whoever is the person or whatever the situation which gives you the highest comfort in your life, that's the thing you will remember at the last moment. You should have a highest comfort. You should feel secure. And that you remember. And it's true. You know, they have analyzed this black box whenever there's a plane crash. And majority of the time, they have seen that many adults, at the last minute when the plane crashes, they call mommy. They call their mother. Now, these are old people, like maybe 60, 70, 80 years, and probably their mother is not even alive, but they call their mother. Why? Because somewhere in subconscious mind, we know that the highest comfort we have felt when we are on mother's lap. That is always there. So to remember Krishna's name at the last minute, we have to feel that comfort that Krishna is our savior. And that cannot happen at the last minute. Unless we practice throughout our life Krishna consciousness, and we feel that Krishna is my savior, Krishna can save me, he can give us comfort, only then we will remember at the last minute. This is called the law of last thought. So, this is why it's important that we practice Krishna consciousness right from childhood. You know, sometimes people die, when people die, people chant what Ram Nam Satya Hai. Maybe throughout his life, this man must have said Ram Nam wasted. But when he dies, we say Ram Nam Satya. What's the use of that? So we have to practice Krishna consciousness and chant Lord Hari's name right from the childhood. Lord Hari eternally dwells in that place where truly exalted, spiritually advanced soul sing the mood of pure devotion. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. So wherever we sing Lord's name with full devotion, Krishna will be there. No, is that true? Krishna is really going to be there? Think about it, right? Like Prabhu is here. Now, Prabhu is walking in the temple room, and there are 5 devotees, they're talking about Prabhu. What is he going to do? He's going to go closer to that group and see what are they really talking about me, right? It's a natural. Now, Krishna is also like us. When we chant Krishna's name, when we chant Krishna's glories, he also wants to come and see what are we talking about him. So it's not only Krishna, even the demigods, they are going to present whenever we chant properly. So next time, whenever you are Harinam or Kirtan movement, just look around you. Maybe you never know. There might be a demigod. But how do you know there is a demigod next to you? Does anyone know? Demigods, they generally sit 6 inches above the ground. So if you see somebody levitating, it's but in a lot of times we may not be able to see them also. It's true that if we chant with your devotion, then the demigods. There is a story about these alvars. You know, alvars are the great devotees in the Sri Vaishnava tradition. Once one of these alvars, he was in the forest chanting Lord's name, and it started raining. And he was looking for a shelter. And then he was looking around, and there was a small hut. And he knocked the door, nobody was there. And he opened the door, and the hut was so small, there was enough room for one person to sleep. So this alvar goes inside that hut and sleeps. After 1 hour, somebody else knocks the door. This is the second alvar who was also in that forest. He's also chanting and he's also looking for some shelter. And he says, "Can you open the door?" And the man, the Alvar who is inside says, "I'm sorry, there's enough room only for one person to sleep." Then the Alvar who is outside says, "If there's enough room for one person to sleep, it means there's enough room for two persons to stand or sit down." So they say, "Yeah, that's true." So he opens the door, the two Alvars are there, they sit down, and they chant the name of the Lord. After an hour, another knock. The third Alvar who is wandering, looking for a shelter, says, "Can you open the door?" And these two Alvar says, "I'm sorry, there's only enough room for two people to sit down." And the man says, "If two people can sit down, it means three people can stand up." Then they open the door. Now the three Alvars are standing out and they're chanting the holy name of the Lord. And then it goes on and goes on, and they're enjoying. After an hour, there's no knock on the door, nobody's calling, but suddenly they feel everything getting squeezed. Nobody is there. Like they cannot even move around. Then they realize a fourth person has entered the room. And who is that person? Hari Sadavase Tatra Yatra Bhagavatanam Gayanti Bhakti Bhavena Hare Namaiva Kevalam. Because they were chanting with so much devotion, Krishna also entered that place. So this is what, if we can chant with that much devotion, this can happen. Actually, I think I must have told this story also about Srila Prabhupada. This happened really in 1976, in 1974 or 76, I don't remember, in Los Angeles. In Los Angeles, Prabhupada had a program, the big hall there in Los Angeles. And after the program, Yamuna was singing Hare Krishna mantra, and Prabhupada was just, on the stage and chanting, and everybody's. And Yamuna was singing, and suddenly Prabhupada comes and grabs the microphone and says, "Narada Muni Bajaya Veena and Radhikara Mananame." Yamuna is thinking, what Prabhupada is doing? I'm trying to chant Hare Krishna mantra. Then she asked, "Prabhupada, do you want me to stop?" Prabhupada said, "No, continue Hare Krishna mantra." She is continuing Hare Krishna mantra, high pitch. And suddenly Prabhupada picks up again, "Narada Muni Bhagaya Veena." Now this is very weird. Prabhupada has never done this. And then Prabhupada does something. He generally used to dance on the stage, but he goes around the hall as if he's holding hand with somebody and he's going around and around. So much ecstasy. And he was so much happy that day. And after the program, Yamuna Mataji wanted to think like, what has happened really? So she goes to Prabhupada's room and asks, "Prabhupada, why did you do this? Why did you interrupt my Hare Krishna mantra? You never did this." And Prabhupada said, "Yamuna, didn't you see Narada Muni was there in the hall, chanting with us?" And Yamuna said, "No, I didn't see." "Yes, he came. He was there. He was dancing around. That's why I was going around the room. That's why I invited him by saying." So this can happen. When a pure devotee chant, the demigods as well as Lord Krishna can appear. This is what the meaning of this verse. "Oh, what a sorrow, what a great sorrow, more painful than any other misery in this world. Mistaking it as a mere piece of glass, the people have forgotten this jewel. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything." He says, what a sorrow. We have got this human form of life. We have got an especially special intelligence, but still we don't take Lord's name seriously. What is sorrow? What is sorrow? Krishna has given us special intelligence. Has Krishna given intelligence to the animals? Does anyone know? Has he given intelligence to animals? Of course he has given intelligence to animals. But animal intelligence is used primarily for finding food or some sense gratification, but mainly for finding food. But human form of life, the intelligence is given for higher realization. What is the goal of life? You never see 10 dogs come together and think about, why am I here? Did you see it? No, human beings can come together and do this. So if we are also using our intelligence like animals, that is a pathetic. Oh, what a sorrow. Like if you want to see how animals use intelligence, you should go to Vrindavan. These monkeys in Vrindavan are very intelligent. So they exactly know how to come and steal your bag or the glasses if you are especially wearing glasses. And I remember going before pandemic, whenever monkeys would steal a glass, you just give them a banana and they would throw the glass back at you. And they would happily eat banana. But during pandemic, I think they realized there is an inflation. So there's so the banana is not going to cut anymore. So now they have upgraded from bananas to fruity. The fruity you can eat their juice. So now you give them banana, just throw the banana back at you. So you have to give the fruity. Then they will give you. So that's why you will see a lot of fruity vendors in Vrindavan now. Wherever there are monkeys. So now unless you give the fruity, they will give your glasses back. Now the monkeys have realized not just inflation, recession is also coming. So now what they have done is they have unionized. Now previously only one monkey used to come, now they come in group 7 or 8 monkeys. And among that group, one who is an expert who has a cum laude in stealing like the 4.0, he will make aerial flight and steal your glasses. Perfect. No mistake at all. Now you are worried. So you just buy a fruity and give the fruity to you. As soon as that first monkey gets the fruity, he starts drinking the fruity and gives glasses to the second monkey. So now you're with the second one. So what is used to cost as one fruity, now it costs you 7 or 8 fruity just to get your glasses back. So this is intelligence of monkeys. But human beings, if we all use the same intelligence like monkeys for getting all this food or sense gratification, then that's no use. That's what this author is saying. Oh, what a sorrow, what a sorrow. We all have heard so many times like Lord Hari's name is the ultimate. But still, year after year, the year comes and year goes. Resolution comes and resolution goes. Still, don't take this process seriously. That is the sad situation we are in. So if we can take on this New Year's Day at least a little bit of improvement, whichever stage we are, if we can improve a little bit, then I think that will create use of our intelligence. So please take this process seriously. It should be heard again and again with one's ears. It should be uttered over and over with one's voice. It should be perpetually sung and sung anew. This holy name of Sri Hari alone is the thing. In the sense, what he's saying is, Lord's Hari name, like a Lord's name, it should be sung all the time. He said that if you want to get rid of worry, then you should chant Hari. But if you want worry, then you should be Hari. H-U-R-Y. So we're always fast, like we'll do this, do that, right? So if you do that, we'll always be worried. But if you want to really get rid of worry, then we should chant Hari, H-A-R-I. So, in this process, there is no holiday. It's not that, oh, it's a Christmas holiday, let me not chant. Or it's some other holiday. There is no, it should be heard again, and with one's ear, should be uttered over and over with one side, perpetually sung. So this is what we should do. And the key is we should have a faith in Lord's name. With faith, if we can chant, then everything will be, like we will see the benefit. So regarding faith, right, there's a story about this lady who was a milkmaid. So she used to, she had a couple of cows. She was a milkmaid. So she would sell milk, butter, and ghee to everyone. But she was living on a bank of the river. So she had to cross the river to sell all these things. So that means she was dependent upon a boatman to cross. Now, it so happened that one of her customers was a Brahmin. And sometimes this boatman would come late, and this Brahman would get extremely angry. Why did you come late? Because of you, you delayed it. My picture has delayed, and this is not right. So next day, and she said, "Oh, my boatman didn't come. What can I do?" And the Brahmin told to this man, "If boatman didn't come, why did you walk? Lord Krishna's name is so powerful that you can cross over the ocean of material existence. So can't you just cross this small river?" And this lady actually took it very seriously. This lady took it, wow, Krishna's name can cross the ocean of material existence. So tomorrow maybe I should come. And next day, she came earlier than the normal time. And the Brahmin said, "Wow, how did you come? I don't even see the boat." She said, "Well, you only told me how to come. I chanted Krishna's name and just walked on the river." And Brahmin said, "Really? Can you show me?" And she again went to the river and started walking. The Brahmin is thinking, "I should try." Now he's more worried about his dhoti because he's holding his dhoti and he's trying to get in the water and he's just down. So this is our position actually. Like Brahmins, that Brahmin, we know about Hare Krishna mantra, glories of the mantra, the potency of mantra, all this blah blah blah. We really all know. But we don't have faith. But a simple milkmaid lady, if she has faith, can do a miracle. So whatever we chant, whenever we chant, let's have faith that this holy name can solve all the problems in this world, material world, and take us back to God, where we can be eternally happy. That faith has to come. So let's chant with that faith going forward. The last verse says, "It makes the entire universe seem insignificant as a blade of grass. It reigns supreme over all in a splendorous manner. It is full of eternally constant ecstasy. It is supremely pure. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything." And another verse, this is kind of a summary of what all we discussed. There's a verse, very famous verse, you must have, many of you know. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukta Abhinnatvan Nama Namini. Very famous verse about the qualities or the characteristics of the holy name. It says, Nama Chintamani Krishna. Krishna's name is like a Chintamani. It can fulfill all desires, especially the spiritual desires. Chintamani, even if you have a chinta about money, still it can fulfill. But it can fulfill much more than that. Chaitanya means it is conscious, not just a regular sound vibration. Rasa Vigraha is all kind of relationship, like the way we have relationship with Krishna as a friend, as a mother. We also can have all the Rasa Vigraha. It's a poet has that potency. Purna means is complete. Shuddha means pure. Nitya Mukta, eternally liberating. Abhinatvan Nama Namini. There is no difference between Krishna and Krishna's name. So this is the name of the Hari. So in other words, Harinam or the Lord Hari's name is the easiest way we can access to the Lord. So this is the most important part of this. So let us take advantage of whatever profession we are in, it doesn't matter. Wherever you are, just take to this chanting process and see how much difference it can make in your life. It's really, please, I really humbly request all of you to take at least one round of chanting every day and see the maker. Like earlier this month, I was in Vrindavan and I saw a young girl, like maybe 4 years, 5 years old, and she was chanting with so much devotion. I mean, there was so much going on in that, like our Krishna Balram Mandir, but she was completely absorbed in chanting of the holy name of Lord. And I was thinking, if I can get just fraction of her, devotion, then my life will be perfect. Look at this girl, and this is in Krishna Balram Mandir, at 8 o'clock in the morning, and so much busy things are happening. And she's chanting Lord's name with so much devotion. Let us pray to Lord Krishna that we can also chant one day like this young girl and make our life perfect. So this New Year's Day, let us make a resolution that we will take this Hare Krishna mantra more seriously so that all problems will be solved. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Quick question or comments? Anyone? All right. Thank you so much. We have a special feast today. So let's honor the Prashadam. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Shyamkund Prabhu. Thank Shyamkund Prabhu loud. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Wonderful class. So if you're not familiar with this concept of do one round, that's referring to these Tulsi beads. And so you take these beads and bead back, and those are available in the gift shop if you like. And if you want to start your year with doing one round of Hare Krishna mantra, we can help you out. You can pick up your beads at the shop. Hare Krishna. We'll be serving prasadam. We'll be over here. You can take prasadam in the temple room, but we would like to clear out 6:45 so that we can clean up the room.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
What about you?